Hello and welcome everybody to Bish's RV. My name is Josh the RV Nerd, and behind us a nice update on the 267 BHS J-Flight. This is like a fantastic starter model. Like if you're sitting there on the fence like I want to get my first camper, or I'm upsizing from something with no slide, or I'm debating do I get the slide or no slide, this is definitely one to look at right here. It fits in very nicely for a lot of half-ton towability. It comes in just under 6,100 pounds dry weight. And what you're going to see for the 23 seasonal updates right here, other than the fact that they gave it a full exterior cosmetic facelift that I think looks absolutely awesome with that beautiful smooth nose front, they have, what they really did is they standardized a lot of things that were just very popular options in the 22 season. So this thing, one of the interesting qualities on it is that it's 6'9" tall. In this class and in this price point, a lot of campers are 6.5. It's not until you get to like the big stickin' tins that you often run into 6'9" ceilings, although there's some exceptions. It is carpetless in the slide floor, and it matches the main floor, which is something I really like. But things that are awesome on here, today we're getting to see the optional new bigger solar package. Jayco has really gotten far more serious about solar in the 23 season, and I'm really excited to have more of that roll out here so that you folks get a chance to take a look at it. The underbelly is now standard and closed on these, but we still have those Goodyear tires with that 87-mile-an-hour rating, and being a Jayco, you also have that 2+3 year warranty that is matched by nobody else in this class. But we are prepped and ready for not just a rear camera, but side observation cameras as well, and it's a bunch of little +1 things like that. Like it's cool that they're using a 5/8 tongue and groove plywood flooring, but a lot of brands do that. So they take it up a notch and they use plywood up in the roof where most brands don't. They give us an option for a built-on factory ladder. Some brands don't even give you an allowance for a ladder. Some brands make you go to the removable extension ladder route, and this is all built right on. It's those kind of +1 things, drops in the bucket you're going to see, but it does have a couple points of concern. I will show you the good with the bad as we go. So you let me know what you like. Let me know the number one thing you'd change, and if you appreciate how we show you the ups and the downs, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and let's get going. And this is one of those floor plans that didn't really need change, so they haven't really monkey wrenched this one too awful much, and that's not a complaint. You're still getting the good things, like we have a carpetless no toe stubber slide. It's not a step-up slide. Where that's really nice is, like, you might notice this one has a pedestal style booth table. Well, I've always been a big proponent of what a lot of people say, oh man, this one doesn't have that free floating table. You don't realize it's the exact same tabletop. The only thing that changes is just the legs under it. So you just unscrew those posts and then screw on like a set of free floating folding legs that you can get off Amazon for, like, depending on the day, I've seen them anywhere from $24 to $44 or something like that, and then free prime shipping. And you can have yourself a free floating table. But since it's not a step-up slide, you don't have to worry about it like dumping the Kool-Aid off the table. Now, right here, we're looking at the traditional cottage decor. This is the brown tones that are HOA approved, of course. There's also the modern farmhouse. Interestingly, you'll get a tiny peek of the modern farmhouse in here because the bedroom will always be the cottage brown decor. The bathroom will always be farmhouse decor, and this has a little bit of a split bath. But before we get there, I want to point out a couple key things. The carpetless floor flush thing makes it look big, but the 6'9" ceiling to me is a major defining quality on the J-Flights because, what will really be the difference here is taller cabinets, taller slides, more space in the bunks, as well as more space for shower headroom, which is awesome if you're bigger like me. Over here, we have the standardized central air conditioner, and it does have a little cool air dump. So when you first get to your campsite, if the kids are saying, Mom and Dad, I'm hot, you can drop the cold air here. And then you can start to push it toward the bedroom and the bathroom and the bunks later in the afternoon. And there is an option for a 15,000 BTU air conditioner on that. I got kind of, in this class and category, it's big enough. Frankly, I kind of just like putting the bigger air on it myself across the board, but I don't see a lot of customers really calling for and demanding on that. What is kind of your take on that sort of concept right there? Big air, small air, whatever. Now, this is one of my favorite things. The Jayco Dangler. That is literally what this thing is called in the marketing department. The Dangler. But what it's telling us is that Jayco bunks are 300 pounds per sleeping space. With these being double beds, that means that you have 600-pound rated bunks. Down here, you see you have some household outlets, and each bunk has its own individual curtain and light, which is really nice. You might also notice I used to call them 50% thicker than industry standard, and I now call them double thick because the industry standard got worse. Brands like Jayco and Rockwood doing Rockwood and Jayco things, they've stuck with the bigger 4-inch mattresses here, which is nice. Now, that is a USB plug up here instead of the household plug, which I've always found interesting, a little bit of split in division. I do like how it was a small thing they added in here, though, including that little grab handle, just to give you something to latch onto there. Now, the RV that we're looking at, it has just the mirror on the wall. If I could change one thing on this RV, I would convert that over into a medicine cabinet. Thankfully, that is something we could probably do for you aftermarket. But take a look at this down here. If I crack that open, you see how this actually still has a good space for a wastebasket, even in the bathroom area. And again, that's where you were getting that sneak peek at the modern farmhouse decor. You may have also noticed very solid space around here, even if you got long legs like me. Like, I'm a little bit over 6 foot tall. When you see me in these, in the little toilet selfie right there, I never intended to be a toilet selfie champion, but here I am killing it, you know? But also, with the taller ceiling, I can stand in that shower and not have to have my head in the bubble, which is something, personally, I don't need that in an RV. I do certainly appreciate that in an RV, though. As I back up here a little bit, you know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the way my wife thinks of me, you know. She doesn't necessarily, you know, need me to help around the house, but I know she certainly appreciates it, you know. I do my best, but I have a way of just kind of bungling things up. Neither here nor there. Let's take a look at this storage galore. And this is something right here, a lot of bunk models don't have good potential closet space for the kiddos, but that is a convertible thing. Like, you know, those shelves can be removed. Now, you may have noticed we were looking at 2 different refrigerators right there. By default, this has a 2-way gas-electric refrigerator and freezer. You can get it built with the swaptional 12-volt DC compressor fridge that we're looking at today. This is not what I consider an entertainment-focused model because it would be a little bit more of a 90-degree neck wrecker style entertainment center. The thing, though, is you could easily get yourself a swing arm TV if that's what you're looking for, or look at something like the 295 BHS J-Flight, which by default is built with a more direct-facing entertainment center. So there's a couple different, you know, options you have. It's not necessarily, maybe this isn't the exact floor plan for you because of that, but this one is shorter, lighter, and less money than that 295, so that's a factor to consider as well. You saw the doors for the easy access dinette storage there. You may have noticed how there's struts for the overhead access doors here. And you may have noticed that little fold-down simulated cinema seat armrest that you have available in that sofa. I do also want to mention there are hide-a-bed and theater seat sofa swaptions available for this as well. And I'd be kind of curious, in a floor plan like this, that isn't really super entertainment focused, what sofa do you think is the best? Because the hide-a-bed gives you extra sleeping. I don't know in a bunkhouse that you need it. Not facing directly toward the entertainment center, I don't know that theater seating necessarily makes sense, although it is comfy. I actually like the conventional jackknife sofa on this because it does give us extra storage in, you know, this is about as small as you can effectively create a double over double bunkhouse with a super slide. That's where this one comes into the mix, by the way. Full viewing window in the entry door, prepped and ready for a privacy shade. And I think that actually does help overcome the kind of shortage of campsite windows on this one. It does give you at least decent views of your campsite. Sealed edge thermal foil kitchen counters, by the way. And I love me a clutter cut and shoe garage right by the entry door to keep the flip-flops and everything else out of the way. And I told you I'd share the good with the bad. This is a 60 by 74 Camp Queen. And I know that that's a potential concern for a lot of folks. I will say, they did build this true queen capable, which you're probably going to hear me say this all year. If it's true queen capable, just throw the true queen in, especially when there are plenty of J-Flights that already include a true queen from the factory. Why not just standardize it? That's my take on it, as long as there's already space for it. Now, over here, we're looking at the 30 amp charge controller right here. This is part of the Overlander 1 solar package. So last year they had a 100-watt little solar package in the same controller. This year they've doubled the solar panel in the optional package. And I think the solar package, the 200-watt panel, and the charge controller's about $500 total. For me, it just makes a lot of sense in keeping my batteries maintained so I'm not melting my batteries the whole time. Now you may notice on the left-hand side here, we have a hanging closet. Over on the right-hand side, it's actually dresser space, and I think some baskets up top in that overhead shelf could work pretty well. Plus, we have ourselves easy lift storage on that plywood decking down here below the bed area. And you might notice again, since the bed base doesn't go all the way up to the wall, you kind of have a choice where if you do close these sliding privacy doors, you can kind of still do the butt scoop boogie to get around it a little bit. You know, or you could sub in a True Queen mattress of your choice, and since the mattress would hang off the platform a little bit, but no one's really sitting on it down there, personally, I don't think it'd be too much of a big deal. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but these blue backbreaker wafer of death mattresses from the factory are pretty much begging for a replacement anyway. But another the really like unspoken benefits you don't think about when you first look at this floor plan is the traveling access in the road mode. With this slide fully closed, you know, with those sliding bedroom doors, you can easily get up to the front bedroom and, you know, slide a door closed behind you at night if you need to on a little, you know, stay over travel stop. But what's great, you can totally get here through the kitchen. You can get to the bunks, and the bathroom door will easily clear the slide-out fascia here, so you are, you know, travel stop, potty stop compliant as well. I think this one passes the Cracker Barrel test, and it is totally turtle-friendly, dude. And if you like the fact that we take the time to close the slides up for you to show you around, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'm going to step outside. But not before bumping my head on the cabinet. All right, now outside here, I wanted to begin in that pass-through compartment so that you could more easily see that it is a true pass-through. Not just a big door on one side, but they're also giving us big doors on both sides. Again, it's that death by 1,000 paper cuts thing that might lead you to a J-Flight versus something else. Like the 2+3 year warranty is great, the plywood roof decking is great, but the UV tinted windows, it's those extra details they put into these, not everybody does. Like you see the magnet holdbacks on the baggage doors, but one of the other nice things is that this uses a key-alike system, so you're not a member of the 751 Key Club. And if you don't know what that is, like if I back up here and try not to run into the trailer behind me, almost every one of these trailers on the left has the exact same key for the baggage door. But this J-Flight is not one of those. It's just an extra little peace of mind and security thing that's kind of built into one of these. They do sit a little higher than some other RVs in this class, but not as much as you would think because of that integrated A-frame. So the interesting thing on these is they don't actually have a taller ceiling. They have a lower floor because they integrate the whole tongue of the trailer, so the whole thing isn't just stuck up in the air. Speaking of stuck up, I'd love to tell you about a couple people I knew in high school. Hey yo! Anyway, and again, we are prepped and ready for not just rear, but also side view observation cameras if you're so inclined. But again, some of the differences here on the 23 versus the 22 generation, you saw it a lot on this channel. We were very big fans of the optional stable steps. Well, they are optional no longer. One of the other things that I really like on these is they have these little quick pull tabs, so adjusting the legs in or out is much, much easier than it used to. And this is the LCI stable step, and one of the cool things about that is that it has a little bit bigger top platform up here. It gives you something a little more stable to step on. Now, as we slide our way back here, you see the Goodyear Endurance radials. Very few campers, frankly, not even just in this class, but most RVs in general, are not using a tire of this grade. And this here is like the most basic level of camper that Jayco makes, and you're still getting an American-made 87-mile-an-hour rated tire. But if you look just above them, you're actually going to see a silver lining to a potentially cloudy day. They have a galvanized steel wheel guard in there. So God forbid, you know what, you can have the best tire in the world, but if there's debris in the road, it could still puncture a tire and cause a flat. If that belted radial really starts getting violent and giving up the ghost like a sleepwalking Uncle Gary after a Friday night of drinking hard, well, it might just prevent the RV from getting severely damaged. Now, they've revised their camp kitchens on this. I'd really love some input on this. I think the griddle situation is much better because last year, J-Flight was the only member of the Jayco family that if it had an outside camp kitchen, did not standard come with the griddle. Well, they fixed that. And these do now come with a standard griddle, which I think is a lot smarter. The one thing I noticed, though, is we gained some drawer space, but we lost the little outside sink. However, the sink was like buried into the cabinet cavity. It didn't slide out where you could more easily access it. So I'd be really curious to know from you folks, what do you think of this newly revised camp kitchen? Are they moving in the right direction? Is it better than it was last year? You know, is there a way that it can be improved? Potentially, but is it better than it was last year? That's really the question I'd love to hear. Now, we're looking at the optional rear roof ladder on here, which is, you know what, as long as we're doing that, let's go ahead and take a look up that thing. Again, Jayco has what they call their Magnum Truss roof system. It's rated for like 50% more weight and load capacity than almost anybody else in this class. What's also great is they actually give us the ability to put a factory installed ladder on this. And if you're looking at a J-Flight somewhere at one of our stores that for some reason doesn't have that, we try to be consistent, but if for some reason you're finding one that doesn't have a ladder, we can always get one applied for you. Now, while we were up there, you also saw their Overlander solar package. Last year, the optional solar package was 100 watts. This year, it's 200. And I think that we are going to do that almost completely across the board at Bish's RV on all of our Jaycos. At least a 200 watt solar package, and some of them we might go a little bit further depending. The 200 watt package is about the most you can get on these J-Flights from the factory though. A couple other quick details and we're gonna wrap up. Black tank flush and outside shower. Nice thing. We have a single stink pickle deployment system over here. It's a single sewer cap kind of camper. And last year, enclosed underbelly was optional. Now standard. You don't got to worry about it. Little extra protection where you need it and want it. I just noticed something. This specific RV that we're looking at has the traditional scissor jack stabilizer jacks. That's not what your 23 J-Flights are normally going to include. My guess is they had some stock they still had to burn through. J-Flights will all standard, actually J-Flights, J-Feather, and Whitehawk will all standard include the new Lippert quick drop stabilizer. And what's really cool about that, if you've seen our videos, I've talked about the Wildwood like JT strong arm stabilizer. It's kind of like that, where basically there's an extra arm that drops down built right onto the jack from the factory that will keep that thing locked down far, far better. So the herky-jerky wiggle jiggleness as the kids come and go, or if you're up there, you know, fighting the fitted sheet, trying to get that thing to fit and maybe expand it on the family, it just won't rock the camper. So the camper might not be rocking and you might come a knocking and have yourself a bit of a surprise. Now, they make a bunch of like if you want no slide, they make a couple of those. If you want with the slide, they make a couple different things. If you want a better entertainment system, you know, more directly facing the sofa and stuff, they make that too. Like I think I have a video of a 274, a 295 J-Flight, no side and one with a better entertainment already out there and recorded. Check the links in the video description. I'll always do my best to leave you a couple different things to look at, as well as a link for pricing and availability. And again, let me know the thing that you like most on this, or the thing that you would change given the opportunity. And if you appreciate that fair shake at things, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I thank you folks for tuning in once again. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.